Mikey, where the fuck are those beers?
Where are those
are
fucking beers, dude?
Where are the beers, Mike? Week 13, welcome Dog Pound. How's it going? I'm joined by my hosts, Goonie, Kamish, and Mikey. Rams and beers. I can't believe you made it in today, man. I'm glad to see
What's up, everyone?
you. And our special guest, one of the original members of the Dog Pound themselves, a now fully clinched playoff contender, Roy's Mizagoosh. How you doing, big guy?
Hey man, thanks for having me. It's feels good. It feels good to know that I clinched the playoffs this year, especially from, coming from a disaster of a season last year, just fighting for that ninth place seed, the whole entire season and coming up short even to that. Now to be clinched in the playoffs, 2 weeks before, I feel pretty good right now.
You got to hand it to him. He's got a roster that can weather the storm with JJ out. So, if I'm Royce, I feel like I got a good idea of what's coming for the playoffs once he gets back.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say that you had JJ for 4 weeks, and you clinched playoffs without him, right? So,
yes, sir.
Regardless of whether he comes back as a true number one overall pick, I mean, regardless, it's looking good for you, man.
I still think he will be a good contributor. I don't think that he's going to be the main guy anymore. That spot's definitely reserved to CMC on my team. He is now the leader. So thank you again, Face. Shout out to my homie. He's getting about if I win the championship, he'll have about 10 to 20% of the credibility. So Face, yeah. It's me and you.
What is your ideal playoff position?
I've evaluated me being, in the position I am now versus second versus fourth. And I do actually like the idea of being fourth place. Here's the thing. I think when it comes to the Lucky Bees, I don't think that anybody could beat his team except for me. Do I want to face him in the second round or do I want to face him in the finals, hypothetically? Both times, I'm assuming both weeks, the data, the record shows that this man scores 130 every single week. And a lot of teams can't do that. My team has the potential. Dummyhead's team has the potential. Goonie's team, actually, I want to get back to that later, but he has the potential as well.
Yes,
but
sir.
When I look at who I would go up against if I was the fourth or fifth seed, we got Riz, please, terrible team. We got Ian's team, 50 Shades of J. Kind of fell off for the most part. I think we can all agree that his team was scarier in the beginning of the season, and that's not to say he's going to be an easy week, but I would definitely have a better chance, in my opinion, if I went against one of those two guys in the first round, and then I go against the Lucky Bees in the second round. Whoever comes up in this, in the finals, basically from the other bracket, I think wouldn't be as challenging as the Lucky Bees for sure. If I am the third seed and I don't clinch that, that bye week second place spot, I might have to go against some pretty heavy hitters. When I look at it objectively, Goonie's team is actually scarier than I would probably say Dummyhead's team on a week-to-week basis at this point. Stephon Diggs, right now is on a bye, and he's, he I think underperformed last week, but that as your flex,
nah, dude, I felt the wrath of Kyron Williams. That shit sucked. That was
Kyron's
so bad.
Yeah,
Kyron's
great point,
back,
because
I think if he
Kyron
just went at his projected 15, I think I would have won, or it would have been very close. But he's like, no, I'm just gonna score 38. Fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, who heard of him? It's Kyron's show.
There might be a chance that I'd play you in the playoffs, or I just end up facing Kamish. Yeah. And even his team's not that bad anymore. His team, I think, is
that's a bye week.
That's a bye week. That's a bye week.
I'm not gassing up, Kamish's team as much as Goonies, but even his team is a little bit more scarier than that first, that first week against either Ian or.
You guys Riz, gonna do any punishments? Sorry. You guys gonna do punishment beers?
Ooh, you know what? I do have a fresh one.
I have a beer. Ken, I owe you a beer.
100%. Well, hold on, Mikey, you owe the league 3 beers. Mikey, are you gonna do those on stream?
And Mikey, are we gonna do a beer this week?
I think I'm not gonna drink beer again. I think that's might be what I've decided at this point, but might be maybe next week. I don't know.
That's fucking sketch. That's super sketch, Mike. I'm not gonna lie. You're losing a lot of respect here in the league, and I just want to put that out there that I think the rest of Dog Pound really resonates with that sentiment that you're kind of being a bitch right now.
Yeah, it honestly, it doesn't taste very good. It's hard to drink. I gotta pour it. I gotta buy it. It's just a lot of work right now, and my life is taking a lot of different turns right now, and I think it's
That's right. You just got married. How was the wedding over the weekend?
Good. It's a lot of drinking. Had a lot of beers. Didn't film any of them. Probably won't ever for a while, but
you just hate us.
You never know.
It's like you don't care.
How can somebody support your team, I guess, throughout the playoffs, knowing damn well that this man owes not one, not two, but 3 beers to the league? It's almost like you don't even care about this league to some extent.
Here's the thing. I think Aaron Rodgers is on my flex list right now, and he's going to come back. He's going to come back to the Jets. Aaron Rodgers keeps pulling him back. His blockbuster offseason acquisition, he tore his Achilles during the 4th play of his game. But I really think, honestly, if there's a reverse beer in this league, I think that would be the first, and that it would happen to me with Aaron Rodgers being on my roster.
Is this a proposal? Did Rams and Beers just make a proposal about a reverse beer?
Yeah, reverse beer. Aaron Rodgers coming back, having a breakthrough season. Maybe dare I say 3 reverse beers, because that's what I need right now. But it might not happen.
Okay, let's start with 1. Let's not get too hasty.
I think I'll start with 1. But 3 would be nice. Sorry, whiskey bottle.
But why don't we go ahead and move on to our next segment here? We did this segment with Jake Dummyhead on last week. We really liked it, and so let's do it again. It's going to be called Are You Concerned, Royce? And we'll go ahead and talk about your playoff matchups because you have clinched. Congratulations. And let's dive a little bit deeper into the matchups and sort of gauge how worried you are. Ken, do you want to go ahead and start us off?
Starting week 15, another thing to be concerned about is you got Pittman against the Steelers. They rank top 5 in defenses. I know that doesn't sound sexy, but I don't know. Mike Tomlinson obviously knows how to run this game effectively enough to have his teams win, and the defense seems to also be on the winning side of it as well. What are you thinking, man? This is definitely one of your flex guys that if JJ isn't going for it, you got him.
I got to be honest, the moment that you said the Pittsburgh Steelers, everything wasn't sexy. There's nothing sexy about the Pittsburgh Steelers. To some extent, no, I'm not concerned whatsoever with Michael Pittman. I'm definitely going to be starting that guy. And shout out to, Ian for making that trade with me. It looks like Javante's kind of taking a step back, but, I hoping obviously the best for him because it was probably, I think, the most fair trade thus far this season, which, both of us got what we needed. And Michael Pittman has been nothing but, really, really, really crucial for my team. So I'm not really too worried about him.
Assuming Achane is not a good choice for week 16, considering his injury status, how are you feeling about, your flex situation? Kareem Hunt or Devin Singletary? What are we playing?
That's a good question, considering that Devin Singletary does play, a pretty tough defense that week. And, Kareem Hunt has just been shit. And there's just no way in, my mind that I would ever consider Kareem Hunt again starting over the other players that I have, just because of how inconsistent he's been. And his ceiling is just also mid. But speaking of mid, it's kind of crazy because you'd think I'd be talking about Devin Singletary, but no, that man has been, an amazing pickup for the Milfy Way Galaxy team. So all respect to him. And even when the cream of the crop of mid, the definition, if you look at the dictionary and you look at the word mid, there will be a photo of that other running back on the Texans, aka Dameon Pierce, Mitch. But the fact that he's taking up all of Devin Singletary's attempts is a little concerning. But at the same time, Singletary did find his way in the receiving, last week in the receiving game. So my hope is, with these next 2 weeks before the playoffs happen, that I'm able to gauge exactly where Devin Singletary's role is going to be. But in the event that Achane is out, Devin Singletary would probably be, my guy regardless. I think I'd even trust, even with, a guy like Dameon Pierce, who, he's pretty much the type of guy who, when you're talking to a girl and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden there's that friend zone guy that's been trying to talk to her for over years. Like this guy that's just be so annoying that you don't have to actually worry about. But for some reason, in my mind, I'm worried about him. Like he is a threat to me, actually, which is crazy. Like I never thought in my life that the friend zone guy would be an issue. But Damian Pierce, you have proven me otherwise. So kudos to you to some extent. It's crazy.
Damian Pierce is in the friend zone.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. But he's fighting for those minutes every single second. You can't get a date anymore because that man is hanging out with her and talking about their feelings together, which is kind of crazy to me.
Are you concerned about McCaffrey, who also in that same week is playing the Baltimore Ravens? That D is third in rushing and third in passing.
There are certain players in fantasy football where no matter what defense or what team goes against them, you don't have to worry. Like, I am not worried whatsoever about Christian McCaffrey, barring like injuries and stuff like that, on who he's going to go up against. Now, worst case scenario is just, they decide to flip the script and be like, all right, you know what? We're just not going to run the ball today. Fuck it. Fuck you guys. Like, yeah, CMC, like the coach decides to do some weird shit like that. But CMC himself being able to actually, be productive in the offense that they've been running, absolutely not. I am not worried whatsoever about CMC. He is definitely the heart and soul of the Milfy Way Galaxy team this year.
Royce, can I just offer 2 counterpoints?
Yeah.
So when CMC played the Dallas Cowboys and the Cleveland Browns, he scored 13 points and 14 points. Are those numbers concerning to you at all? Or if he goes out and gets 13 points against the Baltimore Ravens, is that pretty good for CMC?
Yeah, sorry. I got to be honest, Kamish. I don't listen to stupid questions, bro. You think I'm concerned about CMC? You think I'm concerned, bro? You think I give a fuck who they go up against? You think CMC is gonna go against the Ravens defense and say, "Oh no, time to pull a Damian Pierce," or like some of that shit?
Well,
No.
hold on. Damian Pierce has never scored 15 points. I'm saying if CMC scores 15 points against the Baltimore Ravens, is that like a W for you, or is that like, fuck, I needed CMC to get like 20 points? Think about it this way: if CMC didn't score 30 points for you this week, you would have lost.
Yeah. In the playoffs, I'll admit, yeah, it would suck to see CMC score anything under, if I'm being realistic, his like projections, which is usually like 20 points. I think it's fair to say like I would be upset, especially in the playoffs where it's like,
so when he goes up against the top 2 rushing defenses this season, right, which in Cleveland and Dallas, now he has the number 3 defense in the playoffs. You're saying you're not concerned that he's going to go under his projected 20 points?
I mean, what did I just say, bro? Like it just. Goonie, how's your?
I mean, you're saying one thing, you're agreeing to one thing, and then you're just completely disagreeing with everything else. So
I think I'm hearing a beer bet. I'm hearing one side say, yes, I want beer, and another side say, yes, I want beer. I think,
but definitely not coming from Mikey. There's no beer talk coming from the bottom up.
Oh yeah,
Mike,
I agree.
There are beer bets
CMC,
on the line.
Higher or lower than his projection points on week 16? Obviously, I got to go higher. It seems like Kamish, you're going to be lower.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, Lucky Bees, Goonie, would either one of you guys want, to
what do we say
on this?
I'll take that bet. I'll go for a 4th beer.
Oh,
wow.
Mikey, you're going to have to drink your 3 beers before you can bet again. I'm not going to let you do that.
Hey, mark my word. If I lose this, I will drink all 4 beers on the same video in one take.
Mikey, what is that timer that just popped up on your screen? Is that's 23 seconds till you drink 3 beers?
That's the amount of seconds that I will take to drink all 4 beers.
Speedy.
That's insane.
I expected them yesterday, but 20 seconds, I'll give you that. Jesus.
I think the only one thing, if I had to look at it objectively, that I'm a little bit concerned about is Purdy having both 15 and 17 at away games. Because if there's one thing that the 49ers have been known for this whole entire season is that they don't lose at home. And if you look at the statistics too, doesn't matter what team, Purdy kills it at home. I mean, like, I think the worst is probably Cincinnati, where he scored 18. Yeah. And that's not that bad for a guy like Purdy. The rest have been 20 plus. So I will have to make a tough decision. I think in an ideal world, I'd like to bank on T-Law just continuing killing it as the Jaguars are as well. But like, hopefully we can see that in the fantasy points as well. But this is also what the cost of what it took to get CMC. I had to trade, the great old Patrick Mahomes. Sorry to bring him up, Lucky B. Sorry to bring up your ex, but I felt like I was going to be put in a tough position, but I think end of the day, the matchup will be the most important part.
Royce, you said you're not worried about Brock Purdy at home. Let me just compare his salary range to other quarterbacks that are also playing currently in the NFL. Skylar Thompson. Do you know who that is? You don't? Okay, go ahead. Logan Woodside. Do you know who that is? Tanner McKee. Ringing any bells?
He was a great college athlete.
Wait, yeah, I was going to say that's the one guy that kind of rings a bell. He plays for the Eagles, right?
All of those guys, shut up, Royce. You don't know what to say, okay? All of these guys make way more money than Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy literally has a roommate. I'm 100% sure. You know who doesn't have a roommate though? You know who has a loving family? You know whose best friend is dating Taylor Swift? That you should have traded me? You know what? I'm gonna keep this thing rolling. Royce, I clearly have a ton of anger and animosity, but I don't want to turn this into a catching strays segment. Not at least featuring me. Royce, this is your time to shine. This is a catching strays. Deliver it who it needs to get delivered to, man. And hit him in the fucking chest with it.
Yeah. So I when you guys asked me to be, put on the show, this was obviously the most important part. And when it comes to who, I'm, I guess, the most nervous about, or, who I'm inevitably going to see in the finals, all that was great. And realistically, we can go back and forth. We can just glaze our teams and be like, no, my team's better, your team's better. And so there's no need for me to call out anybody like that. And there's guys like Kamish. It's just like, we're just going to fake this whole entire beef for no reason. It's just unauthentic. And then there's guys like Goonie, Big Selly, Ian, we knew each other in high school, and then all of a sudden randomly we're just gonna be like, no, fuck you, man, and just start hate texting each other. It just doesn't add up. So I'm gonna target a new guy into the league. And while I can target Dummy Head, I feel like there's already so many people targeting him as it is. No, I'm gonna target the most quiet, the worst team in the league. I'm just going to absolutely talk shit on a guy who had zero, I don't even know his first name, but Riz, you can go fuck yourself, my friend. I got a list of things that I want to say to you right now. All right, here's the thing. All right, when you're hanging out with your friends and stuff like that, and all of a sudden you guys need to go on a booze run, right? And Riz is the guy's like, oh, I'll go to the booze run. What do you guys want? And he's like, and everyone's like, oh, just get a 30 rack of Bud Light, right? You know what Riz comes back with? 30 rack of Bud Light. Because he is a responsible guy like that. But you know what? Your friend group's just happy that man left the fuck group for 20 minutes. So now you guys can actually chill without Riz. Come on now.
Yo!
Come on. Oh. Yeah. So fuck Riz, bro.
Wow. That was brutal. I don't think anyone else is really deserving of a stray at this point. So Royce, you are the guest, but I do want to open the floor. Kenny, you said you had a little bit of animosity going. Goonie, I don't know if you're seething right now, or Mikey. We've been forcing you to drink beers. We've been bombarding you.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have anything to say while the Catching Strays logo are still on the left and right and top of our screen?
Fuck, dude. All right, yeah. Let me rip really quick, Mike. Honestly, Royce said that Riz is the quietest guy in the goddamn league. You haven't said a single fucking word all season, dude. And I lost 2 quarterbacks. And I messaged you. I could have given you the gift of God of going into playoffs, but you didn't do shit, Mike. You just sat there, sober as a dog, getting hitched, dude. I'm sick of you, Mike.
Listen, I think everything you've done, you had it coming.
Hey,
all the crappy deals you made, that was your reaction.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm glad you were piped down this whole year, because you don't deserve a second word, my friend. You don't. Don't. And you know what? You don't deserve to point a finger until I see you sip on at least 1, maybe 2, or 3 Pacificos. I don't know. It needs to be one of those things, though.
This glass, there's nothing. It's empty. It's gonna remain empty.
Unbelievable. I don't know. Dog Pound might dissolve after this year. We're looking really soft this year. It's looking really soft. Listen, We're getting carried away, Commish. We're getting carried away. This is what happens. I tell you that you got to put me back on track because we're just gonna go every which way.
I'm
right?
sorry, man. It's animal control. We're bringing in a bunch of rabid animals on the streets, bringing them to 1 quarters. There's
It's a
tight
dangerous-
quarters. It's a dangerous time. And Mikey, you got the timer again, right? Like, what is happening when I gets to 0? I want to know what happens when I gets to 0. I'm hoping it is a beer chug.
Never gonna get to 0.
You ever
It's
seen
just like-
Lost before, where you have to like click the button before the fucking timer goes off?
Hey, it's
What's
gonna get to
gonna
0
happen?
when I drink my beers, which is gonna be never.
All right,
God
well,
damn.
okay.
Mikey, ask your mom for something nice this Christmas, okay? Maybe a special little package the size of maybe this big so they can drink your beer for you.
And my mom drank the beers for me.
Yeah, no, your
I will
mom
allow
can
that
drink the
actually.
beers.
I think that no, moms are okay too.
If
that
you
like,
can
Commish,
find
like
a
that.
sponsor to drink your beers, that is totally fine.
Okay, I'm gonna make some calls. I know a guy named Kurt who's dying to drink beers right now. So
You know what?
Yeah,
If
sick.
if your
Actually, I've
friend
heard about
Kurt, if your buddy Kurt could drink 3 beers on the stream right now, I will
Wow.
absolve all beers that Mikey owes.
yeah, it's weird. I have a feeling he ran out of alcohol like 10 minutes ago.
Oh,
Damn.
Mikey, you were so
Oh.
close. You were so
You
close
were-
to getting
you're
absolved
on
from
the brink,
beers.
Mike.
I think
You're
it's
on the brink.
whatever he was drinking is empty now, so it's
You're
weird.
on the brink of getting on.
I don't know for sure,
Damn.
but
Brink.
Goonie,
Bryce-
how long were you? How long have you been in the league for? I don't remember when your first season was.
Probably like 2017, maybe. or
Yeah,
like
I feel like I was still in SF, so I think that makes sense. You still
Yeah.
haven't won, man. It's been 5 to 6 years.
I was gonna say, Royce was talking about being a championship behind you. That kind of puts Commish as the Celtics of the league. Royce, the Lakers of the league.
Wow.
Give you that. I'll give you that.
No, well said, well said. And considering
You
the way that the
tie
Lakers play
him
now,
with most
like that's the
championships
epitome of
in the
football.
league, and the Lakers will win again before the Celtics do. I'll put it there. So I don't know where that puts me.
Hey, that puts you in a side beer. Whoever wins, if I win a chip before Royce, you're drinking a beer. This could be in 2028. I don't know. You're drinking a beer.
Wow, future beers. Future beers.
I'll
They are,
drink-
listen, they are the future. So, I mean,
Mikey, I'd include you in this bet, but you don't have a great reputation for drinking
That's
beers.
true.
around
That's
these
true,
bars.
Mikey.
listen, I'll get in on that as a
No,
5th beer. I already
no.
made another side beer this call, but I'll make a
He
5th
knows he
one.
ain't making playoffs, so he's just like, might as well just fucking seal the
I'm not gonna
deal.
drink any of them anyway, so
I don't know why I sent you the Zoom link. I don't pay your beers, man. Just pay your beers right here. Just pay your
I'm
beers.
just here to show that the rules don't matter.
Royce, you mentioned you would be on your 3rd chip. I think the question that I want to ask you is, what makes a dynasty in fantasy football? Is it making the playoffs? Like, for instance, is it Ian making the playoffs consistently, him being a top dog every single season but never winning a chip? Is it being a spotty chip winner? Maybe you have like 1 chip every like 4 years, but you have like 3 chips. Or is it just completely dominating for like 2 seasons and that's all you get, or 3 seasons and that's all you get? In your opinion, what makes a dynasty in fantasy football here in the Dog Pound?
What you just said right there, the last thing that you said here in the Dog Pound, right? In my opinion, a dynasty is when a team has been in the league for so long that he's well respected as a vet. That, in my opinion, is a dynasty. Because and right now, from what I see, I think it's me, you, Alex, Ian. Am I missing anyone else?
Well, just to backtrack on Ian, who arguably has been the most successful in having consistent competitive seasons, but has never won.
I would probably say like the
can you
win-loss-
really
yeah.
can you really say Ian is a dynasty if he's never won before? He's doing good, but he's never doing great.
I'm gonna even though you're like slowly convincing me to change my answer, I'm gonna be that guy and just stick with my own and double down on my answer, what I already gave. Nah, he's a well-respected vet in my eyes. So therefore, he's considered a dynasty. I think the next up, and correct me if I'm wrong, would be Sanjay actually, in terms of that dynasty level. And let's be honest, I mean, Sanjay had a bad year this year. very obvious to anyone. But in the past years, he actually has been a competitor too. So maybe if somebody has been like, let's just say Ian has been dead last every single year, then I might change my answer. But the fact, like you said, he's a competitor. He's obviously involved in the league. You got to put some respect on his name. Dynasty right there. And it's not like I'm giving these out to everybody. You know what I mean?
So just to recap and what you said, the dynasties of the league, it's myself, you, Ian, my brother.
And that's it. I think Sanjay's very, very close to it. Now
Sanjay's knocking on the door. What if Kenny wins this season? Because last season he came in like 3rd place. This season he might win. How many more years does Kenny need to be in the league before we start, welcoming him into this very small and selective exclusive group?
I do think that there should be a clause where somebody who's this active and someone who's been constantly promoting the culture of the VIX Dog Pound does get boosted up, doesn't need necessarily those years, but they've solidified themselves as a dynasty. Now, I think that the word, that group should just come naturally. I don't have like a specific time. Like, let's say, I mean, fuck, man. If this guy wins back-to-back chips, then yeah, sure. I mean, and he's talking as much shit as he did.
If Kenny wins 2 chips in the next 3 years, I would have no problem calling him a dynasty in the Dog Pound.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think anybody who's either tied or at top, of the most chips in the league, yeah, absolutely, fair enough. But dynasties come with, just like the longevity and how well they are respected within this league.
Mikey, you'll never be a dynasty because you'll be.
Yeah, no, I think it's also, I mean, like, Commish, I'm just throwing out, I mean, I know you're a dictator, bro, so, I'm just throwing out ideas, but, like, man, someone's holding on to a punishment for 6 months, bro. That man never could be a dynasty. That man is, that's crazy to me.
I mean, Alex kind of did that, but we'll look the other way.
Oh no, you look. Longevity. Yeah, so look the other way, 100%. Yeah, if there aren't a dynasty, bro, you can't change that.
All right, Royce, we're coming to the end of the night finally. Any last notes as we head off into week 14? We have one more game before the end of the season.
In honor, as we were just talking about dynasties, I have to say the legendary line, in my opinion, from Alex, Goonie, thank you for the $5 every single year. All right. Other than that, yeah, hey, Ken, I'll see you in the playoffs. Mish, Goonie, I might see you guys in the playoffs. We'll see.
Hey.
And then Riz, I hope to God I get you in the first round if I don't get that second slot. But I'm also coming for you, dummy head. So I am looking forward to, more than anything else, of seeing the Discord chat, the messages, the shit talking that goes down during those playoffs weeks. I think that this is going to be the most intense.
Wow.
I might just join the Discord VC and be like, yo, while we're watching games, I'm shit talking to whoever I'm playing with live here and now. You know what I mean? I might hop on another Zoom call and be like, yo, hop on, don't be a pussy. Like, I'm just excited for the whole entire experience as it is. So,
all right, Dog Pound, we're gonna wrap up week 13, heading on to week 14. We'll see you there.